Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina will be on a 4-day visit to India starting from tomorrow. This will be her second visit after 2019. The meet is majorly about deeper cooperation, sharing of river waters, connectivity, energy and food security, as well as trade and investment opportunities. What dimensions are the India and Bangladesh leaders going to talk about will be a major takeaway for all. So to get a better understanding on this, today we have Mr. Rajesh Jha, Prasar Bharati Special Correspondent in Dhaka with us. In recent years, both India and Bangladesh have gained an upswing in relationship, both in terms of cultural and historical ties. Mr. Rajesh Jha, what is the significance of Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's 4-day visit to India?
Yes, indeed. You have rightly said that in recent years, the India-Bangladesh relations have gained an upswing in the relationship. This is what is called the Sonali Adhyay, the golden period of India-Bangladesh relations. And this is based on the cultural and historical ties between the two countries. If you look at the relations between India and Bangladesh, it goes back at least to 1971, 50 years, the time when Bangladesh became an independent country in 1971. The foundation of the relationship between the two countries was laid in that, because India played a crucial role in the liberation of Bangladesh, and that has strengthened, inspired, and continued to remain as a strong foundation and bedrock of the relations between the two countries. Beyond that, also, if you look at the culture, the language, and the people of the two countries, they share very deep historical ties that goes much beyond the 50 years. After all, Bangladesh has its national poet. Rabindranath Tagore is the one who wrote the national anthem for Bangladesh. Qazi Nazrul Islam came to Bangladesh from India. These people are equally assets and the great heroes of both the countries. And if you look at it, even Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, as Prime Minister Narendra Modi said in one of his speeches earlier, that Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman is as much a hero for India as he is for Bangladesh. So now at this level, both the countries share a very strong relationship that goes back to history, culture, people-to-people ties, and all those things. Now in the recent times, the depth of this relationship can be seen in the fact that even during the time of the COVID pandemic, both the countries retained a very high level of interaction. Several high-level visits took place. The trade was continued, the bottlenecks in supply lines were quickly overcome, and both these countries continued to have exchange of high-level officials and delegations, so much so that in last year, that is 2021, when Bangladesh was celebrating its 50 years of liberation, also the 50 years of the establishment of diplomatic ties between the two countries, and the birth centenary year of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. In that year, within a span of almost a year, all the three top dignitaries from India, the Prime Minister of India, Mr. Narendra Modi, the President, and also the Foreign Minister, paid a visit to Bangladesh. And these were the visits which were kind of the first visits of these people immediately after there was a little bit of respite from the pandemic. So all these things show the strength of these two countries.
During Sheikh Hasina's visit to India, Bangladesh and India are going to sign the MOU on interim sharing of water of the Kushiara River, which was finalized at the 38th Ministerial Level meeting of the India-Bangladesh Joint Rivers Commission JRC held earlier in Delhi on August 25th. Mr. Jha, how crucial is this agreement for both nations?
Of course, during the meeting between Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina of Bangladesh and Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the MOU on the interim sharing of water of the Kushiara River is likely to be signed. It is a very important MOU which is likely to be signed, and the draft of this was finalized during the Joint River Commission meeting held earlier August 25. As you know, India and Bangladesh share 54 rivers. 54 rivers travel between both the countries, and it is an important area of bilateral relation. And Bangladesh and India have been working hard to evolve ways and means so that there is an equitable distribution of water. They are able to utilize the resources in a manner that is beneficial for both the countries, and in many cases to minimize the impact of flood and pollution. Now the Government of India and Bangladesh have been working, the Joint River Commission has been working on the sharing of water of 7 rivers of the two countries, and there has been some progress on that. The technical people have been working on that, and there would definitely be progress. India has agreed to share real-time data on floods with Bangladesh. Downstream, the rivers flowing from India and the floods taking place in both India and Bangladesh. Sharing of the real-time data on floods is a very important part of minimizing the human cost, minimizing the economic cost of the floods. If you get the information on time, you can always prepare, and it is an extremely important thing. So this is one area in which the progress has been made, and both the countries are working hard to make progress on the sharing of the 7 other rivers which are in the pipeline. Connectivity is a key area of cooperation between India and Bangladesh. If you remember, during his visit to Bangladesh, Minister of External Affairs Dr. S. Jaishankar had said that if one is to look at the next 25 years of relationship between India and Bangladesh, the center of that relationship, the fulcrum of that relationship would be connectivity. And it is truly so. If you look at the India-Bangladesh relationship, the connectivity, the cooperation in the field of connectivity has grown in multiple ways. For example, look at the rail connectivity. As you know, before 1965, there were 6 interchange lines, there were 6 railway lines which were active between India and Bangladesh. They were all closed, but gradually India and Bangladesh have been able to open 5 out of the 6 railway tracks. And the 6th is also work is going on, and it is also likely to open in the near future. The rail connectivity between India and Bangladesh, if you look at the recent development, there has been a new train has been started between India and Bangladesh, which goes from Dhaka to Siliguri, which directly connects Bangladesh to the entire northeast of India. Large number of tourists from India would be able to go to Sikkim, to other areas of northeast, and not only to that, they will be able to go to Bhutan also. So it opens the whole channel of movement of people from Bangladesh to India, and also trade. If there is railways, is a far cheaper and faster way of trade than say the road connectivity. So in terms of railways, India has been working hard, and Bangladesh has also been trying to improve its connectivity with India in several ways. The Railway Minister of Bangladesh recently said during the inauguration of one of the projects being funded, the railway projects being funded by the Indian line of credit, that Bangladesh wants to make all its railway tracks, convert them into broad gauge. A large number of railway tracks in Bangladesh continue to be meter gauge even now, and Bangladesh wants to convert them into broad gauge, because that will mean a seamless connectivity with India, where most of the railway tracks are now broad gauge. Coming to another aspect of connectivity between the two countries, the issue of transshipment, which is a very important area. The location of Bangladesh is such that if the Indian goods are allowed to travel through Bangladesh, then they can travel from West Bengal to the entire northeast through the territory of Bangladesh in a much shorter and much faster way, at a much less cost than through the land route, which takes several times more distance to cover. India has been allowed, there was an agreement between India and Bangladesh in 2018 which allowed it to use the Mongla and Chattogram port for the transshipment of goods. Recently, just a day or two back, the 3rd trial run of a ship from the Shyama Prasad Mukherjee port in Kolkata coming over to Chattogram. Earlier, another shipment had come from Kolkata, the Shyama Prasad Mukherjee port, from Kolkata to Mongla, and from here the containers were transported to the borders of Meghalaya, to the borders of Assam, and the things were delivered into India. This has reduced the cost of transportation of commodities significantly, and that is going to boost the trade between the two countries, boost the efficiency of trade between the two countries, and that is going to be very important. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, in her interview with ANI yesterday, she said that Bangladesh has offered not only the use of the Chattogram and Mongla ports, but also the international airports at Sylhet and Cox's Bazar. Bangladesh, as I told you, its location is such that it could become a kind of bridge, a kind of connecting line between India and Southeast Asia. So that is very significant. In terms of the road connectivity, the India-Myanmar-Thailand trilateral highway project is continuing. Bangladesh has expressed its interest in joining this highway project, and if it happens, that will again be something which will be very significant to enhance the connectivity between the two countries. So there has been a rapid progress in connectivity in terms of railways, in terms of waterways, in terms of movement through the waters, rivers and the ship. So this is something that is an important area of development between the two countries, and both the countries have been working regularly and working hard to enhance this facet of relationship between India and Bangladesh.
Sheikh Hasina has praised PM Narendra Modi's gesture of providing COVID-19 vaccines to neighboring countries under its Vaccine Maitri program and rescuing Bangladesh's students who were stuck in Eastern Europe amidst Russia-Ukraine conflict. Mr. Jha, how much these efforts by the Indian government strengthened the bilateral terms with Bangladesh?
It is more than 2 years since the COVID-19 pandemic hit the world, and probably now people are kind of, the memory of the hard days and the most horror, the days filled with horror are probably fading from the mind of the people. But if you remember, when this pandemic struck the world, India was the first country to offer support to Bangladesh. It offered support in terms of providing vaccine, and it sent a couple of million doses of vaccines when the world was struggling. Indeed, India was also struggling to find enough number of vaccine, but considering the value, the importance of India-Bangladesh relations and its stated objective of working for the larger humanity and standing as in a leadership role in the world, India agreed to send vaccines to Bangladesh.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rajesh Jha.